Michella Chester here with your Week 8 Power 10 rankings. So not as many upsets this week either, but multiple teams were put to the test in 5-setters. Here's my top 10. I didn't go crazy this week, and my top 10 looks pretty familiar to last week, except BYU dropped out, Washington moved in, and my bottom 3 are rearranged. Let's start at the top. Baylor is still perfect. After last weekend, they now have won 31 straight sets. Now that is impressive. I couldn't be more excited for Baylor versus Texas this week, but Baylor will go into the top 10 matchup at the top and unblemished. Stanford had one of those 5-set thrillers I was talking about. They overcame 2 Utah match points in the 5th set with a Utah service error followed by back-to-back kills by Adriana Fitzmaurice. Fitzmaurice then finished it off for the win. So why did I keep them at 2? Well, they just beat a good ranked team without one of the best players in the country. Pitt will remain at 3 with 2 sweeps and no reason to move them. Wisconsin pulled out the win over Illinois in 5 sets as well. The Badgers fell behind 2-1 but still prevailed. They then answered with a sweep over Northwestern. Again, another win over a ranked team. Grace Loberg and Molly Haggerty had 14 kills apiece over Illinois. I left Nebraska and Texas where they were last week. The Huskers swept Maryland and won 3-1 over Purdue, and Texas swept Oklahoma and West Virginia. Neither of those teams are ranked, but like I said, the Longhorns will have their chance next week to try and become the first team to knock off Baylor. You now have permission to follow along anxiously with me Wednesday night. Minnesota will stay put at 7. They also beat Illinois and Northwestern, except Cece McGraw put up an impressive career best 32 digs in the win over Illinois, and Stephanie Samony was back on her game with 16 kills in that match. BYU lost to San Diego and fell out of my top 10, so I moved Penn State up to 8 with 2 wins over the Michigan teams this past weekend and 5 straight wins since their loss to Wisconsin. They too will get their chance to prove themselves in the Big Ten later on. Washington moves back into the top 10 with 2 wins over the Arizona teams. They set a season high for digs in both matches this past weekend. They had 88 in their win over Arizona with 25 from Shane McPherson. And finally, Creighton stays in my top 10 in the final spot with 2 sweeps last week. Follow along with all of this week and Wednesday night on NCAA.com and NCAA Volleyball Social.